Um, the people who lived along the river, the wealthier people, there were 9 plantations in what is now Loudoun County. Lenoir's, 3 families of Lenoir's had 3 of those. There was another one, big one, up 2 up this way. There was Billingsley's down this way. Blair's had another big plantation. Um, but the people were very, very badly divided. We actually had brothers on different sides in this area. The Mayo brothers were one. The Turners were another one that I know of that had them on different sides. Now, there's a great story. Andrew Jackson Snow was the last veteran alive in this county. Died in 1940. If he had lived, I think a few months later, he would have been 100. But somebody, thank goodness, in the 1930s had sense enough to sit down and interview him from the newspaper. And they ran it in the 30s, and they ran it again in 1961 when it came out. Told wonderful stories. But the best one, or the one I enjoy the most, is when Burnside came in 1863 with the Union troops. The 2nd Tennessee, which Andrew Jackson Snow belonged to, came with him, and he got a furlough to go visit his family down in the Stockton Valley, which if you look at Loudoun County, the Stockton Valley, that point sort of going south. And while he was there, he decided to come into Loudoun. And on the way, he passed a free black cobbler, who was his friend, Mort Tolliver. And he decided to stop in and see his friend, who had a little shop out in front of his house where he made and repaired shoes. And he walks in, he said, he opened the door, and there's Martin Tolliver. He said, and there's 2 of his childhood friends in their Confederate uniforms. And he said, I had a pistol on my side, and I had the drop of them because they were sitting down. And he said there was a long pause, and finally one of the young Confederates said, what you gonna do about this, Jack? And he said, you promised to leave my family alone. Nothing. Closed the door and walked away. Sometimes, even in war, those old friendships. I forget this Confederate soldier's name, was in prisoner of war camp in June of 1865 and wrote to a Union friend of his, Turnbull, and said, tell my wife not to send me any more packages because I'm coming home. Evidently his wife probably couldn't read, and somebody had to read it for her. So there was friendship. There was also a lot of bitterness. A young fellow, John Johnston from down in Loudoun, had been captured twice, escaped twice, was with Jefferson Davis when they were trying to get him out someplace away from the Federals, and he couldn't come home. It was so hot for him that he went and lived in Georgia for 7 years before he could come home. Things had settled down in this area. So it's very, very badly divided. It's amazing as much damage was done to this territory during the war that by 1870, 5 years after the war, they were able to free to keep it.